Bear on.
Welcome to Tycoons Tactics, y'all. We are here, the third season. We are here sitting here with Papi Clary in here at Papi Clary's kitchen, y'all. Welcome, Papi Clary.
Thank you, Kuya.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
First of all, it's a very it's an honor. First of all, to have seen your journey through this, and I want to really get into your story of how you got here to having your own restaurant at such a young age, by the way, right? But secondly, I'm very, very honored that you're like a family friend of ours. Like I know we've seen each other at I've seen each other for at Christmases and Thanksgivings and stuff like New Year's, right? And so to be able to be in proximity of people like that who've been able to make an influence here in the community, like locally. I mean, you started out of your backyard, right? To now you have your own restaurant. It's amazing to see, and I'm very honored to be able to go and sit down with you. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having time for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So have you ever played chess before?
Nope, but we will try today, and I'll beat you.
What's up? All good. Hey. So this season of Tycoon Tactics, I was really inspired by a couple of things, right? There's this show on YouTube called Hot Ones. Have you ever heard of it before? No? So Hot Ones is basically a show. They ask questions to celebrities, and they eat chicken wings, right? And with every question...
We got chicken over there.
Right. And with each question that they ask, it gets spicier and spicier, right? And then I was also inspired by this book that I read. It's a business book called Your Next 5 Moves. And what it is they, it's a business book, but they had studied business owners, or I'm sorry, not business owners, but chess players, like grandmasters in chess who can think upwards of 15 moves ahead on the chessboard, right? Because that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Even
crazy.
to think.
Hell of my family plays this that I never got into it. I was like, you know what? I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah,
but that's what, I mean, growing up, that's what you think because, you're interested in other things. But now, growing up, now that you're telling me about how the correlation with the business aspect, oh shit, there is a connection between the two because you get to think ahead of your next moves.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to go fix this real quick. My bad. I messed up right here. Boom, boom. And so, yeah. So those are the things that inspire me with chess. And I wanted to bring it on with people of influence that I believe have made an influence and made a difference with their own brand in the community. And I wanted to sit down and let them have a platform to go and tell their story, right? And so, again, really thankful that we're doing this, and we're going to go and get started, right? So I'm going to go through questions. I'm going to ask you questions, and then you make your move first, and then you answer the question.
Okay.
All right. So what is your name, and where are you from?
My name is Clarissa Abelia Arcala. I'm from Pittsburgh, but I was born in the Philippines, and that explains the whole mural over here. It talks about a lot about my my background, because even if I grew up around here, I grew up in Pittsburgh. We came here when I was 4 years old, but I still consider myself as a fob. I'm like, tunay na Pilipino. Kaya ko makipag-usap ng Tagalog, Ilocano, kahit ano. So I can do the English aspect, I can do the Tagalog aspect, I can do the whole thing. But I don't want to forget my roots, so over here explains my background. My father is up there, and then all of our our rice terraces, because I just showed Filipinos, our flag right there, our mode of transport right here. But basically, I did grow up here in Pittsburgh too, so I'm a little bit of both. I used to go home about once every year up until my dad passed away. So I have a touch of both here and out there.
And then back in the Philippines, you said, where are you from again?
We're from Zambales. We're up north by the water.
I see.
Yeah.
So what was that like being up there? Do you remember? You said you came here when you were 4 years old. What was that like being up there?
I remember vividly. That was the childhood out there is so different compared to out here. Out there, you could be out for as long as you want to be in the streets and, no worries. And then coming here, I started realizing, it's so different out here now. There's so many restrictions. There's so many signs of, those little kid signs, oh, be careful, there's a kid. And out here, you have to remind others to be extra careful. In the Philippines, you can just play as you go, So out here, I feel like they're more strict. Out there, you just live freely. You're like a butterfly. You just go wherever you want as long as you're home at a certain time.
Right.
And you're home in one piece. But, you're very free out there. And that's why, into comparison from out here to there, I feel like you can breathe more there. You're breathing the fresh air of the province and everything. Here, you're just boom, boom, you're on schedule here. You know how there's such thing as 9 to 5 here. Out there, there's no such thing as a 9 to 5. You get the job done, you can go home type of deal.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same thing as a kid out there too. You're done playing, you can go home. It's never like, all right, you're going to school and this is what you do and that's it. No, out there you can be at whatever age, well, in the province at least, not in like Manila, not in all other places, but in the province specifically speaking from where I'm from, you do whatever the hell you want as long as your grades are right, as long as you have your priorities straight, you get to do whatever the hell you want to do.
For sure, for sure. So my next question. So the show inspired by this show, Hot Ones, where you eat chicken wings and answer questions. I gotta ask you, are you a flats person or a drums person when it comes to wings?
Oh, I'm flats. I'm flats all the way, but I'll never pay that extra fee though. I'm cheap. I'm hella cheap. Like, you're telling me I gotta pay extra, like $5, $6 to get all flats, and I'm already paying.
Right.
But I'll pick flats anyway.
What flavor and where from?
I'm gonna go with mango habanero. Mango habanero from Wingstop.
Wingstop, for sure. Versus the mango. I think because Buffalo Wild Wings has a mango habanero too, right?
But
what do you think of theirs?
It's good too, but Wingstop just hits different.
That's the one. Awesome.
Yeah, there's like more flavor in their small. They're smaller, but there's more flavor.
Right, I agree. Oh yeah. So this is kind of a 3-part question. Oh, and then you gotta make your move. My bad. So this is a 3-part question. What was it like for you growing up? A, in your city, B, in your household, and C, with your family.
I can do that, huh? No,
Yeah,
I can't.
okay, yep.
But you gonna eat me right back?
Okay.
Oh, you okay?
Right,
We're gonna
right,
skip it.
right.
But what was like growing up in my city here?
Yeah, what was it like growing up in your city here?
It was very different because I grew up in Bay Point in Shore Acres, and I used to always tell my friends I was that classmate that never lost a loved one up until it was like middle school, all throughout my high school, until my college. A lot of people started passing away, and I was like, hello, my friends are passing away.
Yeah.
And that comes with the baggage coming from Shore Acres. But I have no shame admitting I'm from Shore Acres. Shore Acres built me to be the way that I am today, you know, so I'm not throwing shade at them at all. But I was just saying, like, that was kind of different for me because coming here, I was like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I've never lost anyone because a lot of my friends lost people at a young age. And I was like, you know what, like, I don't think I'll ever experience that. Not at a young age, at least. The next thing you know, I'm losing friends left and right. So that was one of the bad parts about growing up in Bay Point. But you kind of learn the whole survival of the fittest in Bay Point. I mean, it's not that I was in a gang or anything, but there's a lot of shit happening in Bay Point. There's a lot of things going on in Bay Point, you know. But, you know, I've learned a lot from Bay Point, you know. And I'm not talking about, like, how to hide from people who are trying to gun you down or anything. I'm talking about, like, your not your lifestyle, but when you're trapped into doing something, you know, that's where I learned all my yung mga bisyo. That's where I learned how to drink, how to smoke, how to do all that. And it's all up to you how you take that from there. You know, whether you're gonna just try it out, use it occasionally, or use it as a daily thing. Because, you know, us people from Bay Point, we go to Mount, we go to Riverview, we're looked down upon. By default, we're like looked down upon.
Right, because you're not Concord and you're not Pittsburgh.
You're not Concord High, you're not Pittsburgh High, so the odds are already bet against you.
Right.
But the way I took it as how you come into a city, depending on how strong you let others influence you, will also determine how you come out of it. You know how, like, when they say, oh, you go to Mount, automatically you're a piece of shit.
You're a bad kid, yeah.
You're a bad kid, but it's like, no, it's not necessarily that. Right. I'm not the only one that came out of Mount and did something for myself. There's thousands of us that did something for ourselves. Sure. I know 2 siblings that I went to Mount with. One of them was 2 years older than me, the other one the same year as me. One of them went to John Hopkins. You know, that's one of the most prestigious medical college, university, right? And she's out there doing her thing. And she came from Mount. She came from Rio Vista, Riverview, and Mount, just the same as I did. Yeah. Shout out to the Legaspi sisters.
Hey.
But, you know, so regardless of how I grew up, I took it as a fuel, not as this is what the cards were given to me, I'm going to just fold. Nah, I'm going to deal with the cards that were given to me and make the best out of it. I see. So shout out to Bay Point. Like,
Oh yeah.
The culture out there is, it's one of a kind. Did I make my move clear?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. And then how did that translate into like growing up in your household?
Um, I don't think my mom ever pictured.
No, the same question.
Okay, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think my mom ever pictured me being as one of those bad kids or rolling with the bad kids. But it happens, and when it does, again, like what I told you earlier, it's all up to you how you take that. At one point, I almost got suspended from middle school because I uploaded a video of these two girls fighting. So my mom was over here flipping her shit. She was like, delete that video, you're gonna get in trouble, people are gonna come after us. And I don't think my mom understood that it wasn't that serious. We've done things back when we were younger. It was just as simple as uploading a video.
Right.
Which I did almost get suspended for, but my mom thought as being suspended as like the worst thing that could happen. Asian households.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah, education's top.
but at home, my mom, she never really let me out. She didn't let me out because I think she realized the kind of people that was around me. But she had no issues having them over at my house. So as long as I was at my house, everything was good.
Yeah.
She's saying, you can invite as many people as you want. As long as you're at the house, I know you're safe.
Yeah, I see.
So that's how it basically just limited me from going out. But nonetheless, my mom wasn't like strict that I couldn't do anything with my life. But it was more on whatever you were going to do outside, do it here. You want to play video games? I'll buy you a video console.
I see.
You want to watch movies? Go. I'll pay.
Like
I'll give
she
you
knows you're already gonna do the bad stuff. You might as well just
do it here in my household. Right. Yeah.
I see. That's cool. That's really cool. And then what about like within your family? And you talked about your mom. What about like with some of your siblings? Because you have siblings, correct?
I got that one right there.
Okay.
He's the one walking in and out.
I see.
Yeah.
Talk about that. What was it like growing up with him?
Oh, well, since our parents, they weren't physically together. My mom was out here for like we came here when I was 4. In the first 10 years, my mom didn't come home to the Philippines, and my dad stayed. My dad stayed because he wanted to. My dad stayed because he wanted to support his family, not his family like other kids and other wife, but more so on family like his siblings, because he grew up in a family of 8. So he wanted to stay behind for that, and I felt really broken because I didn't grow up with a family. I mean, we weren't broken to the point where they were divorced or anything, but it's a simple fact that I didn't have both my mom and my dad at the same household. So my brother was like a rebel. He was like a rebel. He ended up doing things at that young age, started getting suspended from school, expelled from school. So I didn't really grow up with a good relationship with my brother. I was always like, what the fuck? Like, why are you causing this issue for my mom? Why are you causing this problem for my dad? It was always like that because my parents, they gave everything to my brother. I love him though. They gave everything to my brother. So then every time I would see him act out, I would always be the little sister, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, they're giving everything to you. But, ever since my dad passed away, like, back in 2012, we started becoming really close. So now me and my brother are, like, inseparable because we realized, like, we just lost our dad.
Yeah.
So now we have no choice but to, become closer. So now it's like me and my brother, we're like, the whole world can fall apart and my brother can still be tight. So it was cool. And then we have the same birthday, too, so that was kind of shitty.
No shit. You
Yeah,
guys have
same
the
exact birthday. I don't know how our parents planned that out. And then if you guys are watching this, planning that, don't do that shit to your kids.
I feel like that's some Filipino shit, though.
That is some Filipino
naming
shit.
them the same names, right?
For real. So me and my brother, we have the same birthday, so I could enjoy it, but it was like either he had more of his friends or I had more of my friends. So it was never like, I don't know. But that was cool. Now that we're grown, the older you get, birthdays aren't as fun anymore.
Yeah.
After your 21st, you're like, all right, 25 and shit, 30, fuck.
Right.
So we haven't reached 30 yet, but it's coming.
It's coming. Thanks for sharing that. So, take me through a morning routine. Let's see. Let me go here.
So what the heck would I do? I would bring
You bring this.
back.
And you eat this.
Oh, so I didn't know that once you get here. I thought it was
Right.
like ubusan ng lahi to.
Okay, because I got here. You go eat here. But I got this guy over here waiting for you too.
Oh, once you eat my king, it's done.
Yeah. So I'm trying to trap your king. We just made this
today.
game last another 30 minutes, y'all. I just gave it away. It's all good though. But go ahead, take me through your morning routine.
Oh, my morning routine has changed. It's shifted because I don't know if you know, but my husband, recently went to the ER for a sore throat, and it turned out that he had a lot of things I'm not going to discuss on here, but
Yeah,
it was
no.
life-threatening.
I see.
He had a very little chance of, if basically doctors told me if I didn't take him to the ER that day on May 2nd, he could have died within the next week. That's how bad
crazy.
it is.
Oh shit.
So now my morning routine is checking up on his BiPAP, making sure his oxygen is good, making him his breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I get here like around 3 or 2.
I see.
But before it was way different. But now my life just turned around. It was a 360, but I mean, I'm not complaining. You know, that's what you do. That's what you balance.
Talk about how that's important to you and how that kind of sets up the rest of your day, though.
Well,
Because I mean, I could talk about, but like talk about how setting up, you know, your partner up like that.
yeah, I mean, this is actually, believe it or
care of
not,
them.
this is our first time not being together physically. Since he got out of the hospital, we've been together like 24/7. We don't split
yeah.
up just now because I told him, you know, I'm just gonna do this this quick podcast, and then I'm gonna just help out a little bit, but I'll be right back. So he was okay with that, but you know, I can't focus when I know my other half, my significant other, isn't doing well. He's recovering now. That's
Yeah.
why we're able to kind of split apart for a few hours of the day. But you know, if we're not together or whether we are together, I still can't think straight for my business, and that's why it was so important for me to be transparent with all my customers on Instagram. You know, I let them know like, hey, I'm going through this, so don't expect the 100% out of me if I can't respond to the DMs. So that just kind of threw me off, but I'll always put my husband first before my restaurant.
Yeah.
So, you know, that in a way kind of, not that it slowed me down, it's just a little step back. I just need him to get better, and then I'll get back on my roll. But aside from that, it was nothing major. I mean, it is major. His health is major,
Right, for
but
sure.
the step back wasn't crazy. It's not like it hurt us to the point that we'll have to shut down or anything. So we're good. We're still good here, but, you know, just mentally in my brain, I can't function not knowing how he's doing, you know. Yeah.
That's big. That's big. And so it kind of ties into the last question. Let's see here. I'm going to take this guy. How did you get into the industry that you're in with owning a restaurant?
Okay. I never wanted to have a restaurant. This was never my vision. I actually went to school for criminal justice because I wanted to become a police officer or anything of that matter. Excuse me. Again, remember when I told you about my dad passing away back in 2012? We came home after a month here because my dad was buried in the Philippines. And at that time, I was like 14, I think. Yeah, I was 14, and my mom was working at Home Depot here in Concord. And the manager at that taco truck was like, hey, like, out there, do you know anyone that wants to work? So my mom was all like, you know what? My daughter can use a distraction. So she asked me, hey, do you want a job? I was like, sure, whatever. Like, anything to get me out the house. Because being at the house was just, everything reminded me of my dad. Like, oh, I was here talking to him 2 days ago. Oh, I was there showing him this part of the house kind of deal. So it just made me hella depressed. So I was like, you know what? Anything to get me out the house. So my mom, she allowed me to work because she was also working at Home Depot at that time. So the scheduling was perfect. After school, I would go to work and I would just close, and my mom would close at the same time as me. And that's me working at the taco truck. That was my first ever job at a taco truck. And after that, I went to the real Home Depot, and then I just kept going job to job to job. Even when I was in college already, I was still going job to job to job because I enjoyed working. Like I ended up, it took me like 6 or 7 years to graduate from DVC actually, when it was only supposed to be 2 years, because I just wanted to work. It was always 2 jobs, 3 jobs at a time.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that most of the jobs I was taking on was in a kitchen. I just thought it was easier for me. I didn't think of it as anything.
Yeah.
I
It
didn't.
just happened.
It just happened. I was just like,
Yeah.
this. I didn't think it was my calling. None of that. So remember how I told you I do have a lot of friends that come over to the house because my mom didn't really want me to be out like that. Those same friends would be the ones telling me, "Hey, you should sell this plate, sell that," and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's hella normal for us Filipinos. What's the number one rule at home? Whenever you invite anyone, our grandparents, our parents get hella mad at us when they don't have food, right? So I would always make sure that there's always food for my friends in the, back at home.
Yeah.
So they would always tell me like, "Hey, sell this, sell that." I was like, "What the fuck? You're crazy! Like, why would anyone want to buy pasta from me? Like, why would anyone want to do this?" So I tried once, and when I tried it, I was like, "Oh shit, people like my food."
Yeah.
And I didn't know that they liked that. I just thought, they wanted to support me up until it was like the second meet, third meet, fourth meet. And the numbers just kept going higher and higher and higher. I was like, whoa, this is something different. So then I guess you would say, starting from my home cooked meals.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, posting on Instagram.
So I think that's where it started. But even then, I still didn't think I was gonna have a restaurant. I was still going to school for criminal justice.
Yeah.
I was still working at other places. But then it wasn't until 2018, I think. 2018, I decided, I was like, you know what? I have enough support. I have enough love from the community. Let me go and start selling from home, as my main source of income.
Yeah.
So 2018, I was like, you know what? Fuck working. I don't want to boss anymore. Let me just try this.
What did your mom say when you decided to do it? Or what did your family say when you decided to quit a
Surprisingly,
job?
my mom wasn't like the typical Asian mom. You know those Asian moms that force you to be someone that you don't want to be?
Right.
Right? You know what I'm talking about, right? My mom wasn't like that. She just supported me in everything I wanted to do, whether it was becoming a police officer. She still was like, all right, I'm all in with you.
Yeah.
She believed in my vision. No matter what it was, she believed in me. She was always in my corner.
Okay.
I think it's because she also knew that I didn't have a father anymore, so she wanted to give me that extra support, and she didn't want to put that unnecessary stress on me, and she believed in me, and that was like the biggest thing. Selling from home, I think my mom did have, I think my number one cue, the only cue that I needed from my mom when I told her I was going to sell from home, she told me, hey, I'll buy your first grill. I was like, oh shit, you just heard me quit my job, and I'm like slacking in school, but yet you still want to buy me my grill. That to me meant like, all right, it's green light, it's good, like I can start this. So she was on board. My brother was on board. Everyone in my life was on board. So it made my transition way easier. Like no one was, parang walang kumokontra sa akin. Like walang nagsasabi sa akin, oh, hindi mo kakayanan yan, oh, wag mong gagawin yan. It was never like that. So everyone was on board. And that made my transition way easier. So the whole support, every time I had an event, they were all available for me. Okay. You need a truck, I got you. All my best friend was all in too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a hard transition or anything.
What time of day do you do your best work? And I'm going to make mom move here.
I would say here at the restaurant, I would say lunchtime. From 11 to 1, that's when we're the busiest, 11 to 1, because of all the other places around us. In Concord, there's a lot of businesses there.
Yeah.
So a lot of them come here, and sometimes Mount Kids. Shout out to Mount Kids. They ditch school to get here.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I also do good dinner time.
Okay.
So I would say from 6 to 8 is when we get our busiest times. So yeah, I would say around those times, lunch and dinner. But in between that, like right now is the downtime. This is our downtime. This is when I have everyone prep and get ready for the night and for the next day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
For sure. So we're going to take a quick break real quick, get some water, and then we'll go right back to it. Back from halftime. So
Heat is up. Celtics down.
shit, for real.
Jeez.
What was your biggest? You could frame it this way. What was your biggest challenge, or what was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Ooh, I'd rather
Check.
answer the biggest. It's done?
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're gonna give me some tips. No, but then aren't you? Okay. Okay, one of the biggest challenges. Whew, there's a lot. I can't pinpoint one. Hold on, clear. I have like brain freeze right now. I think it was growing up without a dad. I know that sounds very cliche, but it wasn't more so on like the financial part. It wasn't more so on like it wasn't like I was misguided. It wasn't like I became for the streets or anything. No, it was more so on the emotional support that I was seeking from my dad. Nonetheless, my mom provided more than what she was supposed to. She gave more than 100% of what she had in her. But I think my most challenge was growing up, seeing everyone else with their dads, and it would just take a very huge toll on me. Senior night, didn't have my dad to walk me down basketball. Graduation, I didn't have my dad. My 18th birthday, my cotillion, didn't have my dad as my last dance. My fucking wedding, I didn't have my dad. So those were the challenges that I continuously still face till this day. But I think the word challenge isn't fitting anymore. I think I've kind of used that as a way to make him more proud. To my drive is now more fueled by him not being here, because I've come to terms already. My dad's gone. He's never gonna come back. Because I had this wild what's this word? Like, basically, back when I was working at the taco truck, I used to always think that my dad was just pranking me. That one day he's just gonna show up like, "Hey, daughter, like, I'm here." So I had that for about 2-3 years after his passing. But now I've come into full conclusion that he's really not gonna come back anymore. So now I just try to make him happy. I just try to make him proud while making my mom proud. So I don't think challenge is necessarily the word anymore. I think it's more so on what have I done after overcoming his death is more so. I don't know if that's like the answering your question.
No.
But at first it was a challenge, 100% a challenge. I would go home so many nights, crying myself to sleep, like, did I deserve not having a dad? Like, I always blamed myself for his death too. It had nothing to do with me, but just the type of person that I am now, I kind of overthink. So I guess when you say challenge, there's a lot of parts of me that I wish wasn't here. Like, I overthink one, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do my own little pity party by myself. I don't really involve anyone else, but I beat myself up for a lot of things that go wrong. So in terms of that, I think that's one of the challenges that I face till this day. I'm not quite honest with my feelings sometimes. I have to lie to myself to be able to continue my business. I mean, I'm not like mentally drowning or anything. It's just sometimes, I got to put on a front. I can't put my feelings in front of me sometimes. I have to think about the people around me. Even if I want to be selfish, even if I want to be selfless, I cannot be. I never can be. So I think one of my biggest challenges is basically not putting myself first. It's not much of a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge to a point where I'm not putting myself first, but we as humans, naturally, we want to take care of our loved ones. Yeah. We're not just going to say, mine, my happiness, my happiness. So
I think that happens a lot to a lot of givers. A lot of people who love hard and a lot of givers, they find that, it's that they love everybody else and kind of forget to love themselves. You know what I mean?
So I think that's one of my challenges.
I see. Now, for someone who wants to get into the industry you're in, the food industry, the restaurant industry, what traits and strengths would someone need to be successful in that?
Oh, you have to have a very, very thick skin. You have to have a very thick skin in a sense that if people are bringing you down, if people are telling you, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that, you have to learn how to separate the words can't, won't, all those negative words. You got to learn and train yourself to not let that affect you. I remember I told you I never imagined that I'd have a restaurant. It was never a goal for me.
Yeah.
But after I realized the amount of people that were like messing with me with my food, like people were supporting me, I was like, I'm all in now. From there, when I became 100% with myself, that's when people became negative towards me. When I started finally believing in myself, that's when people started, like, oh, you gotta continue school because you need plan B. Oh, you gotta do this because that's not just gonna work out for you in the end, kind of deal. You get what I mean? Where I'm coming from, Kuya? When I think of it as a career, I didn't care what people were thinking. But when I was finally like 100% all in, that's when people were like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, now you're gonna struggle having a restaurant. You won't know how to run a full staff. Those were all the things I heard. So to be able to run a restaurant, I think you just got to be able to have a thick skin. If you believe in yourself, that's like the number one investment you can ever put in. Like, that's the best investment you can do, invest in yourself. If you truly believe that it's a passion in you, follow it. No matter the obstacles, no matter what. Because, there are days we don't sell that much back at home. There are days we sell amazing. But I never let that be I never let it hinder me from getting a restaurant. I always knew there's always going to be ups and downs. You just got to be 100% with yourself. Invest in yourself. So that's the one thing I would basically advise anyone that wants to get into the restaurant business. It's not always going to be rainbows and unicorns. It's not always going to be like that. But you're going to have to, learn how to cope with all that and still have a positive mindset because this is your 100%. I never believed in plan B. People always say if your plan A doesn't work, there's B, C, D, E, F, G. No, what if you put your whole heart into plan A? You never have to think about B. So that's basically one of my advices. Don't think about the whole alphabet. Think about A and stick to A. Give your whole into A. You're 100% into A. You never have to think about B, C, D, E, F, G.
Right. I like that. What are some of the biggest lessons that your career has taught you in the restaurant industry? Sure.
The biggest. This can go this way, huh? Or no?
This one can go forward.
But you're gonna eat me, so. The biggest lesson you said I've learned?
Yes. Yeah, so what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned that your career has taught you, I should say?
The biggest lesson that my career has taught me is you won't be able to please everyone. You can have the best intentions. You could give your 100% to each and every customer that comes in here. Yet the people who are negative will still come out negative. So there's no changing their minds. If their mindset is to find something negative about you and what you do, they're always going to have that. It's very hard to change minds of people who are already with that kind of mindset, like the negative people, the people who are miserable in life already. So I learned that in the hard way because I used to always think, I'm going to give you everything I can so you can accept me and love me. No, you don't have to get the acceptance and love from everyone else. You don't need anything. You don't need the validation from the whole world because at the end of the day, you won't be able to please the whole world. I used to read our negative reviews and take that shit to the heart. You can, as you should, because it's your passion. But some people will say anything just to say anything. It sounds very shallow, but it's literally what it is. People say anything just to say it. They're just miserable people.
Yeah.
They have nothing else better to do. They plot on your downfall. It's real. People have seen this. And I'm sure you have to, Kuya. It's your own people in your own circle that start doing negative things to you. So you just gotta, I think that's one of the lessons I learned. Like, no matter how great you are, no matter how pure your intentions are, you won't be able to please anyone that does not want to be pleased by you or your service.
That's big, yo. It's going crazy. Papi, what is your sign, and how do you think it makes you who you are today?
I am a Cancer.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people read Cancers as emotional. 100%, yes, I am. I take a lot of things to the heart, but I also learn how to cope with them as a business owner. As a business aspect, I have to learn how to block off certain things in my life. I can't take everything to the heart anymore. But naturally, as a person, as a human being, it's still going to get to you, right? But I just learned how to not dread. I just learned how to not hold on to it for such a long time. I don't cry over lost friendships anymore. I used to. We are very loving, very, very loving. We're very emotional, loving, and we're just a very loving sign. I think that's helped me in my restaurant because I think a lot of people, not just my friends, but more like the customers, I think they see who I really am for me, and that's helped me advance in the restaurant business. I always try to drill my employees. Our food is not always going to be 100%, but the one thing that we could be great in is customer service. Yeah. You shouldn't ever have a bad customer service, because my mindset is, what if one day we give them a bad food? And if we were nice in the beginning, they're going to come up to us and tell us like, hey, they're going to tell us right there and then, like, hey, this is what happened. But imagine if we were rude in the beginning and then they get shitty food. That's a double negative. They're not even going to want to come to you. Yeah. They're just going to go share on Yelp. They're going to go rant on Instagram. They're going to rant on social media about how shitty your service is, how shitty your food is. But imagine if in the beginning we had outstanding customer service. They're going to feel bad to even rant about us. Yeah. So that's the one thing that's our rule of thumb here. It's always customer service. I always try to tell them, greet them, say bye as they go, ma'am, sir, use those words. Yeah. So we're really big on customer service here, and I think that's what helped me as a cancer.
Yeah.
So I try to give my employees who don't have really that much emotions to be more compassionate about what they say, what they do, and just how they treat people here.
I gotta say this too. So this is maybe my second or third time being in your store. Something that I noticed is your people have a way. So Poppy, you have a great way of making people feel like they've known you for a long time, even though they might, or maybe even give you that feeling like I've met you before type thing. Or like, are we family? Are we cousins or something like that? You know what I mean? I feel like you give that vibe like, oh, we're family, we're friends, we've known each other type of things. And when I come in here and I talk to your people, that's the same vibe I get from your people. So I gotta say, like, you've done a very great job of implementing that culture into your people and making it very important because they can go to fucking Chick-fil-A for a chicken sandwich. They can go to any Mexican restaurant for birria.
Yeah.
Why are they gonna come to a Filipino spot?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think it's really the customer service. It's how they make them, how you like people never remember what you said, but they always remember how you made them feel. And I think that's probably something that all your people have for sure. And
Thank you.
Yeah, I gotta commend you.
Thank
for that,
you.
for sure. Now, what do people misunderstand about you the most?
Um, Here at the restaurant, I'm very different from in here to outside. Here, I'm much nicer to my customers. Obviously, I have to, and even outside. But my employees, I treat them like they're my kids outside of the restaurant. But here inside the restaurant, they'll see the worst of me in here. I'm like a Godzilla in there. I don't like certain things that they do. When certain things that they don't execute, I get hella mad at them. As I should. So they misunderstand me sometimes being a bitch to them, but really I'm just trying to look out for them as a team and as being the brand owner. Like, this is my restaurant.
Right, your name's on it.
Yeah. But I think they started realizing that after work, I'm nothing like I am here inside.
I see. Yeah.
My brother is one of the supervisors here, as you would say, and obviously he's not going to be as hard as I am on them. So when it's me working, they're like, "Oh shit, she's here. We gotta really gotta." So when there's certain things that they're doing and I don't like, obviously I tell them. There's never any sugarcoating in here. I'm straightforward. I could hurt their feelings for all I give a shit, but it's only because I'm not gonna be here and baby them in there. I need them to have tough skin. I need them to, I need them to get on board. I'm not going to sit here and say, all right, you were late today. It's okay tomorrow. I understand. Nah, can't do that. Like, this is a business and I'm paying you. You got to.
Right.
But outside of work, let's start to realize, oh shit, she's nothing like what she is inside. So that's one of the misunderstandings, is that they think I'm hella strict here, but it's only because the other supervisors in here, they're not as strict as me.
Yeah.
So that's one of the misunderstandings that a lot of my team thinks of me.
What about your customers?
I don't think I'm pretty transparent on social media. What you see here in person is what you'll see on social media. So if there's any misunderstanding within any of my customers, I don't really know much of them. A lot of my messages consist of, there's hardly any customer complaints. Thank God.
Right, yeah.
Thank God there's really not that much. But when there is, I try to just tell them. And I don't think I come off rude or anything on social media. So I don't think there's really that much to misunderstand.
Sure.
Like how you see me on social media is how I'll treat you in here.
Oh, and then it's your move. Did you make a movie?
I did.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then what's the best compliment that you've gotten thus far? Or what's the best compliment someone's given you since being in the restaurant?
I think the one you just told me right now. That's one of the best things I've heard in here.
For sure.
Knowing that I've transferred that, what's that word that you used earlier?
Culture.
Yeah. So, the fact that people from the outside are seeing this, that means a lot to me. That just means I'm doing something good. Like, I'm doing something right for my team and for the community as well, So if you're able to see that, I can only imagine what other people can also see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say that's one of my top 3 compliments I've gotten. And I think the other one would be, Basically, people. I think people just basically complimenting me on my age, the early age that I'm able to run a full staff and a
How,
full.
how old are you, by the way?
I'm 26.
You're
I got this when I
26.
was 24. Yeah.
So you opened this up at 24.
I bought it when I was 24,
You bought it when you were 24.
and then I opened it when I was 25. I bought it during March, I think, and I opened in July. No, bought it in April and then opened in July. So. Yeah.
24. Man. That's so young. Like most 24-year-olds are like trying to figure out if they're gonna go to get their masters or not. They're not thinking about buying a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I like how you used the word like I didn't sign a lease. I bought the restaurant and
Well, I bought the rights to the restaurant. It was
Yeah.
still a hefty amount. I still
Right.
pay the monthly payment from the landlords, but so in
still.
a way, yeah.
but still like you own this motherfucker. Like, you feel me? And that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. At 24, then, like,
Yeah, I try not to talk about it on social media because I don't want to come off as like
no,
a show off.
no, hell no. But yeah, people can definitely see that. But that's what I think. This right? People who think that you're showing off, I say this, like, because I don't think I'm flossy, but I have no problem showing people money or stuff like that, or showing people how much I've made or things like that. And it's never to floss or flex, but
You're
always
proud.
to motivate.
Right.
Always to motivate my people.
But it also depends on who you're talking to.
Exactly. But it also depends on what they're looking for. See, because that person I'm trying to motivate, they might be looking for me to be flossy. And I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to motivate you, show you like, dog, I'm getting this out the mud. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get this out the mud. I'm showing you how I'm doing it because I know you in a similar predicament as I am. You feel me? So shit, show that shit. I don't give a fuck. Floss it for real, because whether you're looking for motivation or you're looking for someone to floss or flex on you, like it's what you're looking for. Like to me, that motivates the shit out of me because I'm like, bro, like that's crazy. For real, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Here we go. How old were you in 2012?
I was 14.
If you could meet your 13-year-old self, what advice would you give you?
Where can this go?
Straight or side to side?
This can go like that. Okay. 13-year-old me. So, again, my dad passed away back in 2012. Back in 2011 was the last time I saw my dad. It was in August. It was during my trip to the Philippines, my last trip before he passed away. We were sleeping and my dad started coughing a lot. Started coughing, started like he couldn't breathe. And he was all like, "Hey, go get your go get my medicine bag for me. It's right there in the drawer." I got the medicine bag and I was like, "What is it for?" I was like, "Oh, it's for my wound right here on my knee." And I was like, all right, let me go grab that for you. So the 13-year-old me would have been more curious. I would have been like, what is this bag for? Because there's no way in hell you're running out of breath right now. And you want your medicine for your knee. Like, it was just like a wound that he had. So when I older, I was like, shit, I should have been more curious back then. I should have drilled him, like, why do you have this medicine bag for? Why do you have all this for? 13-year-old me, I wish I could have been more curious.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have saved my dad then. Because
Yeah.
none of us knew he was sick. My brother didn't know. My mom didn't know. I didn't know. Only his best friend knew. And I guess one of his reasons was because he didn't want us to worry while we were overseas.
Yeah.
So I wish I could have overthought around that time. Now I overthink because of that thing happening to my dad. So now I take care of my husband the way I do because I don't take
Wow.
signs lightly anymore. Any sign that I see that you're not doing well, I'm gonna push you to, get this shit
Yeah.
checked. Like,
Yeah.
get checked, because I don't know.
you've seen it already,
I'm
yeah.
traumatized by that.
Right.
So I wish the 13-year-old me could have been more curious. I
Yeah.
could have probably been have a dad still. So that's one of the.
If you could sit down like this, like face to face with 13-year-old you right now, what would you tell her?
Be more curious.
Knowing what you know now about your life and how it's gone, what would you tell 13-year-old Larissa?
Be more curious. Being curious can save a lot of things. Not just my dad, but being curious, it gets you gets you places. Talk to people. Get to know their like their deal. Get to just basically talk to people. Be curious. That's one of the things that I can, not just for my dad, but just in general.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would have gone this far in my business if it wasn't me networking with people back in high school, in college and all that.
Yeah.
So I would tell the 13-year-old me, talk, be curious. Because, a lot of people try to shut you down for being so curious. Nah, be curious.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being curious. There's nothing, knowledge is free. So why try to gatekeep that from anybody? So I want to know how you started this. I want to know why you're doing this. Right. Maybe in the long run, it can motivate me to do something, whether it's this or whatever, whatever else. Why is, my brother, certain things. So just be curious. That's what I would basically tell my 13-year-old self. Be curious.
Oh, yeah. If you could be remembered for anything, what would it be? Make my move. Got your queen back. I've been plotting on that. All right.
Like that?
Like that. I got
like
your
that?
queen. I had to.
What the fuck? Where can this go, you said?
Oh, you're good. You can go wherever you like. No, it's just one spot. One spot.
No, because then you can. Oh no, it's not spot. Right. Okay.
There we go.
If there's one thing that I could be, or what do I think I'll be remembered for?
What would you like to be remembered for? If you could be remembered for anything, what would you want to be remembered for?
Oh, that I give my 100% to people I love. That's one of the, because what helped me get over my dad's passing, because I didn't know he was that known in the Philippines. Because on his last night, because you know how out there in the Philippines, Kwantay, diba? It's it goes from 7 to 9 days of burial, and then you get buried on your 9th day or 7th day, whatever it is. So on the last night, that's when everyone comes from every place. We have a pretty, I think, because we have like 12 mango trees in our yard, so that can kind of picture how big our yard is in the Philippines. Yeah. My dad's last night, that was enough space for people that came for him.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't know he was that known.
Yeah.
The senator came and the governor came. Oh. And I was like, oh shit. So I know my dad was remembered like that because of his personality of always giving. My dad gave the poor people like jobs in the Philippines. So my dad gave jobs, my dad gave money. It was when he died, he only had like 11 pesos in his pocket. But he had no issues giving like 100,000 to our neighbor. Like, so I would love to be remembered for someone that I could have $100 right now, and if you need medicine for your mom, I'll give you my 90. I still need my 10. Yeah. I'm not gonna give you, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of my friends, family, and employees can also agree to this, that I'm a pretty giving person.
Yeah.
I spoil them. Because I also, like when I'm not around, I also want them to take care of my business when I'm not around. Mm-hmm. When my husband was in hospital, nothing went wrong here. Right. And it's because they're, parang may mahiya sila. I'm not gonna do this to her. Right. She fucking loves me outside of work and inside of work. Why would I not take care of my boss's business?
Right. Oh, that's big. That's how you want the thing to operate. You want them to step in big when it's time to. And that's why you open the business.
Right, yeah. It's because my whole mentality is, I can stack up, sure. But once I pass, I can't take that money with me. I want to live now. Yeah. I want to live my life now. If I can, why not? If I can bring all my friends to Hawaii, if I can bring all my friends to Cebu, why not? Right. I have the extra means for it. Why not? So that's the one thing I can proudly say about myself. Yeah. I'll give what I can when I can.
Papi, we got a couple minutes here. Could you go and tell people where they can find you on social media and where they can go and find your restaurants? Because this is not just the one. This is Papi Clary's Kitchen 1, right? There's another one. Where can people find you?
So one of my biggest platforms on social media is our Instagram, which is Papi Clary's Kitchen, right over here. So just plug that in on your Instagram. I'm sure no one's really with a Papi with a C after, so I'll probably be the top one over there. So Papi Clary's Kitchen, and I also have a Facebook, Instagram, and then I also have a website, which is just this too. This, .square.site. You can order online orders. And then if you're ever in the Philippines, we're in Zambales. We're in Bondaket, San Antonio Zambales, which is a tourist spot too. That's where all the people go for the beaches. So you can kill 2 birds in 1 stone.
Hey, for sure, for sure. Papi, thank you so much for
Thank
sitting
you,
down
Mia.
with us. Absolutely.
Thank you.